Real estate terms you should know if you're buying or selling a house. What's up, everybody? James Walker here, local real estate agent here in North Carolina, ERA Strother Real Estate, Fisher Group. And today I'm gonna get right into it. I'm gonna talk about terms you should know if you're thinking about buying or selling a house. The first term I'm gonna talk about is pre-qualified. Pre-qualified is this. You go to the bank or you go talk to a lender and you want to borrow money to buy a house. So you go to the bank, you're like, hey, Mr. Banker, I want to buy a house. And they go, okay, and you tell them everything. They can ask you all kinds of questions. And at this point, they're just taking you at your word, at face value. Verbally, you're telling them, yes, I've been at this job for 10 years. I make $100,000 a year. And everything you tell them, they're just going to take it at face value. And that's pre-qualified, okay? And that's all that is. Pre-approved. Pre-approved is same thing. You walk into the bank, you go like, hey, Mr. Banker, I want to buy a house. I've been in this job for 10 years, make $100,000 a year. They're gonna ask you for bank statements. They're going to ask you for your taxes and for your job history. They want to verify you actually do have a job. The old, as Ronald Reagan said, trust but verify. So now they're going to verify all the information that you gave them. If you want more information about pre-qualified, pre-approved, check out this video right here where I talk about it. The next term I'm going to speak about is dual agency. Dual agency is this. I have a house for sale. I represent the sellers and I have this house for sale. And I have this buyer come up and they're like, hey, I want to buy this house. I'm interested in this house. Will you represent us also? That's dual agency. So I represent the seller because I'm selling their house, and then I have a buyer who walked up who wants me to represent them also. So now I've got both sides of the deal. I got the seller and I've got the buyer. Another term we use in the real estate world is contingency, and this is thrown out around a lot. And in North Carolina, this is what it means typically, but I can't speak for other states, of course, because each state is different. But contingency, what that means is this. A good example would be, I've got somebody who wants to sell their house, and I've got a buyer who wants to buy it. So we write up an offer, a contract, and they go, okay, Mr. Seller, I'm going to buy your house, contingent that I sell the house that I'm in. So they've got to sell their house. So the seller makes an agreement with the buyer saying, okay, I'll take my house off the market, but you are going to buy my house within a certain amount of time. We'll say 60 days for argument's sake, but the seller will tell the buyer, okay, I'll take my house off the market. You're the one I'm going to offer it to, but you've got 60 days to buy my house. If he can't sell your house 60 days, it goes back on the market for everybody. Another term used a lot is actually two terms, is due diligence period and due diligence fee. Due diligence fee is this. When you purchase a house, if you're a buyer and you're looking at purchasing a house from the seller, and you want the seller to take the house off the market, so you're going to give them some kind of incentive. There's no set amount. It could be $0. It could be $1 million. There's no set amount, but you're just letting the seller know, hey, look, I want to buy your house. Here's some money to take your house off the market. So it's under contract or pending, as they say. And then at this time, the buyer will do home inspections and appraisals and see what is wrong with the house with inspections and appraisals to make sure his loan goes through or her loan goes through. Due diligence period is this. So you buy the house on June 1st. And there's no set due diligence period. It's not like it has to be 2 days or whatever. But typically it's about 2 to 3 weeks at the most in North Carolina. And at this time, we'll say your due diligence period is June 15th. So once you get past June 15th, that's the end of your due diligence period. Now I'm going to talk about earnest money. What earnest money is, it kind of sounds like due diligence fee and due diligence period rolled up in one, but they are different. What it is this. Earnest money kicks, the same example I just used, earnest money kicks in on June 16th. So your due diligence period ends on June 15th, earnest money kicks in on June 16th. It's the same thing. You're going to give some type of money. It could be $0. It could be $1 million, however you want to give. And what this is good faith money. You're letting the seller know that you are still going to buy their house. You're still interested in buying their house. And it's just some more incentive money to let them know that. The next term I talk about is appraisals. What is an appraisal? An appraisal is when you go get a loan, as I talked about earlier, pre-qualified, pre-approved. You get a loan from the bank or the lender. They're like, yes, here's we're going to let you get approved for $200,000 to buy a house. So now you go to find a realtor, you find a house at $200,000. You're like, yes, put an offer in, all that good stuff. Now the bank is going to verify. They're going to come send an appraiser to this house to make sure it's worth to $200,000. They're going to loan you for this house. If it does not meet the criteria, if it is the appraiser goes, it's not worth $200,000, it's worth $195,000, then it's up to you as a buyer to either come out of pocket for $5,000 if you really love this house, or the seller could reduce the price. What is equity? Equity is this. Equity is when you buy a house with the closing table, all that good stuff. Now the house is yours. So now typically what a lender or bank does, they have you pay your taxes and your insurance all rolled up in one, and it's all rolled into your mortgage payment. So your equity is that. So it's like some states, and North Carolina is one of them, is you can, once you pay off your house, you are eligible to just pay your taxes once a year. What is closing costs? Closing costs, I'll explain the buyer side first. Closing costs for the buyer is the buyer's at the table, they're in the attorney's office, they're signing all the paperwork to get ready to move into a new house. And they will have to pay for deed prep. They're going to pay for documents that the lawyer has drawn up, title searches possibly, things like that. And there's no set amount, so I can't give you an amount of how much that would be. For the seller side, what it is, same thing, deed prep, get documents ready, title searches, anything like that, and to record the new deed. Also, with closing costs, sometimes as a real estate agent, you can ask the seller to pay the buyer's closing costs. North Carolina, they're obligated to. They don't have to pay the buyer's closing costs. They can offer to pay half of it. Depends on the situation you're in and how they're motivated. If they really want to sell their house, then they probably will offer to pay the closing costs or half of the closing cost. If you enjoyed this video, please check out these videos right here where I talk everything about real estate on this channel. And if you are thinking of moving to North Carolina, please call me, text me, email me, send me smoke signals. Be happy to help you. I got your back with you on moving. All my information will be in the link below. And I also have it somewhere on the screen up here. So please reach out to me. Be happy to help you. Got any questions? Got your back with you on moving. See you guys in the next video.